At the end of the 1980s, it looked like nothing could stop supercars. Manufacturers promised impossible speeds, buyers waved checks in the air, and engineers built machines that seemed untouchable. Yet only a few years later, the dream was collapsing. Deposits turned into lawsuits, factories closed their gates, and some of the fastest cars in the world sat gathering dust. How did it all fall apart so quickly? Was it greed, broken promises, or the world economy that pulled the plug? People loved the phrase real supercar in the late 1980s and the 1990s. It meant a car shaped by racing ideas, made from exotic materials, and tuned to run past 200 miles per hour. It meant a price tag that made even millionaires blink. It meant small build numbers and giant claims. Think Jaguar XJ220, Bugatti EB110, McLaren F1, and Ferrari F50. These cars were built for a tiny group of collectors, racers at heart, and a few brave speculators who thought anything limited would rise in value forever. That belief met the real world fast. Start with the Jaguar XJ220. The story begins at the 1988 Birmingham Motor Show in the United Kingdom. A team inside Jaguar and Tom Walkinshaw Racing, better known as TWR, wheeled out a concept with a V12, all-wheel drive, active aero, and a name that dared the world, 220 miles per hour. The crowd went wild. Deposits poured in. People signed up with £50,000 just for a chance to buy one. Then came the hard part, turning a dream stand car into a production car that passed tests, met costs, and could be built more than once. By 1992, the production Jaguar XJ220 arrived very different from the showstar. Out went the V12 and all-wheel drive. In came a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 and rear-wheel drive. The V6 was quick and strong, but buyers remembered the promise. Some called lawyers. Jaguar said the order forms showed a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 all along. A judge agreed with Jaguar. That did not stop the grumbling. The price had also climbed to around £470,000 because of index-linked terms and taxes. Then the early 1990s recession hit. Confidence fell. Speculators saw they would not flip the car for profit. Cancellations followed. Lawsuits made headlines. The timing could not have been worse. The Jaguar XJ220 was still one of the fastest cars on the planet. Magazines recorded top speeds over 217 miles per hour and wild acceleration. But the car was big, the steering heavy at low speeds, and there was notable turbo lag. Reviewers liked the speed and handling on open roads, but they also said it took effort in town. The final blow came from Woking, England. The McLaren F1, drawn by designer Gordon Murray and powered by a 6.1-liter naturally aspirated BMW V12, reset the world. It reached an official 240.1 miles per hour in 1998. Buyers who had stretched for an XJ220 now stared at the McLaren F1 and felt the earth move under their feet. Dealers still had new Jaguars in 1994, 1995, and even 1997. Discounts followed. Imagine walking into a Jaguar showroom and seeing a brand new XJ220 priced like a large sedan. That actually happened. A few competition efforts tried to fix the image. The Jaguar XJ220C won its class on the track at the 1993 24 Hours of Le Mans in France, but it was disqualified later over catalytic converter rules and paperwork. The appeal failed. It was salt in the wound. A car born from Le Mans dreams had no lasting Le Mans glory. Now move to Campogalliano, Italy, and the bright blue glass of the Bugatti factory. Romano Artioli revived the Bugatti name after decades of silence. He hired top talent, built a cathedral of industry, and marked the 110th birthday of Ettore Bugatti with a launch on September 15, 1991. The Bugatti EB110 had a 3.5-liter quad-turbo V12 with 5 valves per cylinder, a carbon fiber monocoque, all-wheel drive, a computer-controlled wing, and a 6-speed manual gearbox. The EB110 GT made around 553 horsepower. The EB110 Supersport made over 600 horsepower. Acceleration was near 3 seconds to 60 miles per hour. Top speed ranged above 212 miles per hour and up to about 218 miles per hour. On paper, it was a tour de force. But again, timing. The early 1990s recession did not care about carbon fiber. The market for $300,000 to $500,000 toys shrank. Bugatti planned 150 cars per year. In reality, the total production was a fraction of that. Cash burned. Romano Artioli also bought Lotus cars in England, which added more cost and distraction. There were even rumors and claims of industrial sabotage. Whether or not those claims were true, suppliers stopped, bills piled up, and in 1995, the factory went quiet. Some unfinished cars and parts later became dour EB110 Supersport builds projects. The Campo Galliano building still stands like a monument to a brave, bruising attempt. The McLaren F1 had its own twist. It was not built as a race car. Gordon Murray wanted the best road car experience possible. The carbon fiber chassis kept weight low. The center seat gave perfect control. The BMW V12 made 627 horsepower with a sound that many still talk about. The price at launch in 1992 was about £540,000. In the early 1990s, that was a jaw-dropper. Even so, McLaren thought it could sell around 300 cars. By the end of the run, only 106 were built in total, with about 71 road cars and the rest special versions, and racing cars. Here is the surprise. Even the greatest road car of its time had to work to find buyers. The economy was weak. McLaren had no dealer network like Ferrari. Some wealthy customers wanted more comfort or an easier image to live with. McLaren kept going, and then came a moment no one forgot. In 1995, a McLaren F1 GTR won the 24 Hours of Le Mans outright. That single result transformed the legend. The McLaren F1 LM celebrated the win. The servicing and the racing program helped the business case. Over the years, the McLaren F1 became the one that got everything right, but in period, it still felt the chill of the market. Now to Maranello, Italy, and the Ferrari F50. It arrived in 1995 to mark 50 years of Ferrari. It used a 4.7-liter naturally aspirated V12 based on Formula One architecture. The engine was a stressed member of the chassis. The car had a carbon fiber tub and pushrod suspension. It did 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 3.7 seconds and topped about 202 miles per hour. Ferrari built 349 cars and priced them around $475,000. On paper, it checked every box. Yet many fans who worshipped the Ferrari F40 did not warm to the Ferrari F50 right away. The styling drew mixed comments. Ferrari kept early testing close to home at Fiorano near Maranello, Italy, which made journalists wonder how it behaved on real roads. The driving feel was very pure, but it was also loud and stiff. Ferrari floated plans for the Ferrari F50 GT to race in GT1, to battle the McLaren F1 GTR and the Porsche 911 GT1. Then Ferrari pulled the plug. Without racing glory, the Ferrari F50 stood between worlds. It was more refined than the Ferrari F40, yet many thought it felt less dramatic. The market did not chase it like a lottery ticket. Values were steady, not wild. Only later did collectors look back and see what it offered. So what killed the real supercars? The short answer is a perfect storm. The early 1990s recession ripped the roof off a party that began in the late 1980s. The collector car bubble popped. People who placed deposits on the Jaguar XJ220 to flip it got cold feet. Lawsuits over the engine swap from V12 to a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 made headlines. Prices that had climbed in line with inflation formulas suddenly looked out of touch. Bugatti aimed high with the EB110, but sales trickled in while costs flooded out. Even the McLaren F1, with Gordon Murray's vision and the BMW V12, felt the pinch of a tiny buyer pool. The Ferrari F50 had engineering depth, Maranello pride, and a V12 howl, but many fans compared it to the Ferrari F40 and moved on. There were other threads. Technology moved fast. A car that was fastest 1 year could feel old 2 years later. The McLaren F1 made the Jaguar XJ220 look slow the moment people saw 240.1 miles per hour in print. Usability also mattered more in the 1990s. The Honda NSX showed that a supercar could be friendly. Some buyers started to want both speed and comfort. The Jaguar XJ220's size and heavy steering, the Bugatti EB110's complexity, and the Ferrari F50's hard ride made daily life tricky. Racing links mattered too. The Ferrari 288 GTO and the Ferrari F40 grew from Group B dreams. The Jaguar XJ220C's lost Le Mans class win hurt its tail. The Ferrari F50 GT never reached a grid. Only the McLaren F1 GTR turned road glory into race glory, and even that came after the street car had launched. Companies learned from this bruising decade. Ferrari later sold the Ferrari Enzo in small numbers to vetted clients. McLaren built a broader lineup years later, and much later, returned to the hypercar with the McLaren P1. Bugatti, under Volkswagen, came back with the Veyron, which aimed not just at speed, but also at reliability and comfort at 250 miles per hour and beyond. Brands became careful with promises. No one wanted another public fight like the Jaguar courtroom drama. They also trimmed production to match demand, so new halo cars would sell out and keep values stable. The places and names from this era still carry weight. Birmingham Motor Show set off the Jaguar mania. Campogalliano, Italy, remains a glass ghost of Romano Artioli's big swing. Maranello and Fiorano, Italy, still anchor Ferrari's story. Woking, England, and Gordon Murray's design room gave us the McLaren F1. BMW supplied the V12. Tom Walkinshaw Racing shaped the Jaguar XJ220. Dower and B. Engineering kept parts of the Bugatti EB110 alive after the factory closed. The 24 hours of Le Mans in France crowned and cut down dreams in equal measure. Looking back, there is a touch of humor in how human it all was. Very serious people believed prices would only rise. Then they called their lawyers when reality disagreed. Engineers promised the moon, then chased emissions, noise rules, and budgets with the same energy they chased lap times. Fans argued in parking lots about the sound of a V12 versus a V6, while both cars idled and overheated. For every poster on a teenager's wall, there was a dealer somewhere with a silent phone. What killed the real supercars was not a single villain. It was timing, hubris, hard math, and faster rivals. It was the early 1990s recession squeezing wallets. It was a Jaguar that changed engines, a Bugatti that ran out of cash in Campogalliano, a McLaren that needed a Le Mans win to find its legend, and a Ferrari that stood in the shadow of the Ferrari F40. The lesson is simple. Building the fastest car in the world is hard. Building it at the exact moment the world wants to buy it is harder.